Mr. Jermaine Gadsden. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How we doing? How's everything going?
I'm good. I'm good. We were just chatting about how we actually record. This will be technically your first episode on the podcast, like live episode on the podcast. We recorded one back in May, like a week or two out from your first show this year.
Yep.
And because I was so spotty with just posting podcasts for the first like half of this year, I didn't post it in time. And I was like, well, this doesn't even make sense to post now because he's already competed and he was talking about what he's looking forward to and all this. So, anyways, it first official episode on the pod, but this is something that I have been wanting to kind of do for a while and kind of make you and Addie, and obviously Addie's got probably 10 of the episodes or she's on already.
Yes, sir.
But just make you guys pillars and just kind of come back and forth to just chatting with you guys, with us all three being business partners and BAM. But I want the people to actually know you as well. So I want to kind of talk about a little bit about your story. We can lead up to, where we're at as far as being business partners together now and kind of how that whole thing has come about and go from there. So I want you to tell the people kind of like, let's just start with who you are.
Yeah, definitely. So Jermaine Gadsden, as you all know me, and kind of just go into like my story and who I am today, or what.
Yeah.
Give me.
Yeah,
What do
go
you
for it. Go for it. Just kind of like your, let's talk about your origin story, right? I know just like Addie and I, very similar kind of start as far as you were an athlete back in high school.
Yeah, definitely. So, in the beginning, it was very humbling beginnings, right? As I'm one of six kids, my parents had a lot of us. So, fast forward like through the beginning years and just moving to high school, I played football, track, and wrestling all 4 years of high school, like not a season off. So at the end of track season, I was getting ready for wrestling. At the end of wrestling, it was time to go into summer for football. So it was like a nonstop grind. And then ultimately that competition, like the competitive edge spark was there. Like it got sparked there. And I'm who I am today because of it. So going back, I definitely would, if I could, focus on one sport
Yeah.
instead of trying to do master everything. Like, why not just be the best I can in one thing and see how far that can take me? But man, I'm a big believer in my faith, and everything happens for a reason. So if anything, like any decision I made was the opposite of what I previously made, I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you today.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great mentality to have. And it's funny because I always wish the opposite. I laser focused from the very beginning of high school on basketball. And like looking back, I wish I just would have done all the sports. Like why did I kind of like locked in on basketball because for me it was I couldn't comprehend, like I wasn't going to be able to forgive myself if I in a sport I didn't care about as much. I got hurt and that kept me from basketball. So I was like,
Mhm.
it's not even worth it. I'm not going to do it. But now looking back, I'm like, should have just had fun. Like all your buddies were doing all these different sports. Like I should have just done more sports and just kind of seen what happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like people only understand things from their perspective, right? And like you are the exact opposite of what I did, and you want to see the other side of that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Just that's why I always love chatting it up with you, man, because it's always a different perspective than what I think of or what I'm used
Mhm.
to. That's good stuff.
Well, I think that's also just a case of like the grass is always greener, right? Like you did it one way, and so like you wonder what the other way would have looked like. I did it one way, and I wonder what the other way would have looked like. It's all there's always that aspect of what if I had done this a little bit differently. But to your point, to just echo what you are kind of getting into is it is a you never know what one little change would kind of echo into, like for example for me,
Yeah.
maybe if I did these other sports, I don't end up, busting up my knee in basketball, and I don't end up getting because of that jumping into lifting because basketball hurt too much whenever I got to college to play
Right.
like intramurals and stuff. I stopped playing intramurals. I got into lifting.
Mhm.
I ended up going into bodybuilding, which got me into coaching, which led to my knee surgery because of my busted up knee 2 years later, which started the company Eubora Fitness, which is what launched into coaching with Addie, which is what launched. So it like kind of pendulum effect, like it just domino affected all the way down to where we're at. So who knows if
Exactly.
that any of that would have happened if I was doing other sports as well.
Yeah, and that's why I said I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, right? Like
Definitely.
if something at the very bottom of that building you were building was different, your life can be completely different. Like we wouldn't be having this conversation, or you and Addie never started the coaching business, right? Like That's just how it is, man. Everything happens
Yeah.
for a reason. I
She
definitely
might not have, if she wasn't coaching, she would be in like she would have gone to like a nursing school or been
Yep,
pre-med and like gone in, and she never would have moved to Houston. You guys never would have met. So that's wild.
that's it. It is crazy, man. That's how it is.
Yeah. Well,
Definitely.
so, you're a athlete in high school and now you're kind of facing, okay, what does this look like as at the next level? I'm rounding out my senior year of high school. Like what was that decision like for you as far as picking a school, and did athletics play a role in any of that? Did you just pick a school based on your major?
Yeah. Yeah, so in the beginning, it was easy because I was taxed from sports. Like I played sports nonstop. So I started playing sports at the end of my middle school years. So
Okay.
from then all the way for the next 4 years, right until I graduated, I was playing sports. So it was pretty easy to make that decision of not doing it. But my initial degree, like my initial major, was sports medicine, and then I
Mm,
had a call with my mom, and she was like, "What do you want to do with that? Like, you want to be a trainer? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, get a real job,"
yeah.
which is pretty funny. Like, I'll touch on that story again here in a second. But so I switched my degree to civil engineering, and that's what I have my bachelor's in. So in my
Mm,
head, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to school, I might as well get the best degree that I can. So just having a plan B, if you will, which I'll touch on that again here in a second. But yeah, it was definitely an easy decision to not play sports. And I went to college about an hour and a half away from home. So kind of like the local college, if you will.
yeah. That's about how far we were too. It's just far enough to where it's not like easy or convenient to be home all the time, but it's also close enough to where like you can get home if you need like some time at home or a home cooked meal or something like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So with you picking that degree and then kind of going down, like when did you get into like was there a specific point in time where you thought, I need some new athletic kind of endeavor or some new challenge or goal, and that's what brought you into lifting, or how did you get into just fitness and lifting?
Yeah, so I've always been into lifting since like 13 years old is when I first
Mm,
started lifting seriously. And then that just progressed. Like I just fell in love with my progress and how I looked. And I got my first membership at the age of 17, going on to 18 at Planet Fitness. So Planet
nice.
Fitness was like home base for me. And then I just fell in love with it. So this is when like social media and like influencing just blew up. So like YouTube and Instagram was just taking off. And I'm looking at these guys like, and they're the same age as I am. Like, why can't I do what they're doing? So I would say like David Lade, like Dylan McKenna, then graduated to Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, and those guys because I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I just didn't have that confidence and didn't like understand the process until a few years after that. So when social media started, I started posting on TikTok right during like the 2020 when everything was shut down. That's when TikTok blew up for me, and I'm like, man, I think I think I can make this thing work. So I just kept posting. Like it started in 2020. I did my first show in September of 2020, second show in December of 2020, and in between that, like 2 to 3 month timeline, like everything changed. Like I recorded voice notes to myself, like you're gonna get your pro card, like manifesting it. You're gonna get your pro card. Your life's gonna change, and everything that I said in that voice message happened. Like nothing was the same after that, which in
Wow.
itself is a blessing. So I would say that spark was just seeing other people doing it, and that just creating ambition in me to go get that, to go achieve it as well.
Yeah, and I think something you said there that I want to kind of camp out on for a second, because I've always had this kind of a mentality as well, but I know a lot
Mm,
of people don't, right? Is you said you were seeing all these other people be successful and do, kind of successful cool things,
yeah.
and your first thought was, why couldn't that be me? Why couldn't I do that? And I've always been like that too. I've always had this just kind of natural, well, if they can do it, so can I type of thing. But I know a lot of people as well where I've been in conversations with like friends or peers, and they see someone doing something and they're like, wow, must be nice, or wow,
Mm,
it's they're just different. They're just in a different scenario, or they just have a different brain, or they just have it's almost like well, that's cool for them, but I can never, right? I would never be able to.
mm.
What do you think is it for you? Because I've never been able to answer this about myself, so I'm curious what your perspective is. What do you think is it for you that made that be your default? Is like, why couldn't I?
Yeah, so like I said, we have very humble beginnings. Just small town, big family, and I always wanted more. Like I always wanted to achieve more and just like be someone that someone can rely on. Like that's always been my mantra. Like it's all on you. Like you have to take accountability, you have to take responsibility, and you have to lead.
Mm,
So just seeing them do something that I'm already doing, like I love lifting. Like if the cameras are off and social media didn't exist, I would be doing the same thing. I would be competing. I'd be lifting all the time, and that's just who I am. That's a big part of who I am. So just I've always like it's simple to say, but kind of hard to understand. But like I've always had that in me to want more and to be better, and just have that mantra of if they do it, if they can do it, why can't I do it?
yeah,
So that's just always been instilled in me because I always wanted to achieve more. Like I always wanted more.
yeah. No, I think that's great. There's a quote that I have in kind of like my quotes list. He's a very controversial um, quarterback now. The Browns quarterback. Everybody kind of will know who I'm talking about. But early on, before everybody knew he was kind of who he is, he
Mhm.
had this like in the postseason. He had this quote like banger of a quote in like a post game interview. They had just like won, and it was kind of a crazy win and everything. And they're like, "How do you get the confidence to make some of these throws and do some of these things that you've done?" And he's like, "I just asked myself like, somebody's got to be great. Why not me?" And like ever since that,
That's
that's
real,
just like such a bang, like just a cold quote where it's like it
real,
makes
yeah.
me it's that can be just such an anchor. Like if you can take one thing from a podcast like this or from just a switch in your mentality, if you can
Yes.
just like imprint that in your brain and ask yourself in different scenarios or when you come to crossroads in your life, somebody's got to be great, why not me? Like that
Hmm.
is just that's just like rocket fuel for whatever you could possibly want to kind of set your mind to. But that's kind of
Definitely.
what that makes me think of is that's got to be your default. If you do want to achieve more, if you do want to do more, you have to have the why not me type of
Yeah.
mentality.
Have to.
Mhm.
100%. And I feel like that's a big part of knowing is just adapting. Like, okay, so you see what they're doing. So now if you want to achieve that, do the same thing. So I said a quote in the other podcast, like, if you want to be a millionaire, look at what the millionaires are doing and do that. Right. So if someone's living out your dreams, look at what they're doing and then do that. And that's
Mm,
just how it is. Like if they can do it, I definitely can do it. Like, not an
yeah,
insult to them that's doing it, but it's just like how I hold myself accountable. Like I hold myself to a high standard. Like I can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can make it happen.
yeah, you're absolutely right. So now you have gotten, we're up to kind of the story where you picked civil engineering as your major
Yep.
and you're now just going to school to be a civil engineer. You're lifting a good amount. You've kind of
Mhm.
discovered TikTok. You're seeing some success on TikTok. Like where did things go from there?
Yeah. So after, so I always give the breakdown of the show. So I competed on September 26th, and I turned pro on December 12th of 2020. The crazy story is the guy that I got second in my class. So top two in each class get your pro card. Spoke to one of the judges. He said he actually had me win in that class. So
Mm,
that was cool to hear. You know, I'm 21 years old. These guys are like mid 30s. You know, they've been chasing their pro cards for a long time, and I show up and God blessed me, and I was able to get the job done. So after that, everything took off, right? Like I'm getting new followers, I'm getting traction, like millions of views, like just overnight, right? They just happening. I remember I posted a posing video, and in 3 hours, it had like 50,000 views, 55,000 views. And I knew from that moment on, I have to make this work. Like I can 100% do this thing. And then fast forward like another year, like everything is beautiful, right? Like I think I launched my coaching in January 1st of 2022. So I was selling like workout plans and trying to grow my social media. TikTok was booming. I had like my top video got like 8 million views when I was in prep. So everything was just snowballing. It just kept getting better and better. So that moment over the span of like 3 to 4 months, I knew exactly that this is what I was meant to do.
mm,
Um, and then I launched coaching, and I'm sure we'll get into that later. But in the beginning, I was charging guys like $50 for a month, right? Like super low ball, and just trying to build my reputation and stamp myself as one of the best natural coaches to ever do it. And I feel like we're well on our way to do that right now.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And
But
so
yeah.
starting out with coaching, when did I want to kind of whenever you graduated, right? You've got the civil engineering degree. Did you
Mhm.
ever actually end up pursuing that? Did you just
Mhm.
did you what happened there, I guess?
Yeah, so I actually got we spoke about this before, but I actually received an offer for landscaping, land surveying, for
Hmm.
an internship. I can't remember the name of the company. But from there I wanted to become a senior project manager. And the big like engineering firm where I'm from is Santee Cooper. They're like electricity, like civil engineering, electrical, like that's where you want to be. So the
Yeah.
goal was to ultimately work up to that, but I actually booked it. Like after I graduated, I booked it to LA. And I'm like, man, I just want to bet on myself. Like I got my degree. I made my family happy, made them proud. Like now I can do whatever I want to do. So being in LA, it really sparked my desire to do this, whatever it takes. Like I had to make this work. So I started getting good coaching clients. It was 1 month when I had a big breakthrough, like the highest revenue so far up until that point. I'm like, man, I gotta make this work. I can't go back because I worked at Home Depot. I worked with my dad doing construction. I worked at Waffle House. Like it's so much that I went through to just be in this moment. And I feel like I'm truly living my divine calling. Like this is why I was created. Because I wake up every day feeling fulfilled. Like, let's go. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So you went out, you pursued it in LA for a little bit,
Yep.
and then you decided
This
you're
is it.
going to continue pursuing it in LA, or did you go straight to Houston from there?
Yeah. So I went to LA for a little longer than the summer. So about 4 months, 4 to 5 months. And I visited Houston on my way back home in October of 2022. And then I moved here, what, 7 months after that. So I visited and I'm like, I'm already looking for spots. Like, this is my place. This is where I have to be. Because I knew a lot of guys before I moved out here. And I moved out here. And then shortly after that, I met Addison. And then everything just started clicking. Like, I felt like for the very first time in my life, like I'm happy with where I am right now. Like everything is going the way that it should, right? Like I'm in a new relationship now. The finances were getting better. Like I moved to a new city so I can become whoever I want to become. So it was just like a slow build to where we're at today. And like
Hmm.
the journey, looking back, the journey has been absolutely beautiful. Like all of the trials and the doubts and the fears, like it all paid off because I'm in this moment right now speaking to you.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And
Thank
so
you, bro.
you guys basically you got to Houston. Addie got there, I think, shortly after you.
Yep.
And it's funny because around that same time, I was pretty heavy still into like running my company Eubora,
Hmm.
which some of the listeners will remember Eubora.
Definitely.
There's still stuff on the website for sale. The company doesn't exist anymore, but I'm just kind of getting rid of excess inventory. But
Hmm.
um, I had the first time I ever saw your name was, I guess, when you were going super viral in 2020, early 2021,
Hmm.
where I had seen like a couple of your posts, and I was like pretty heavily like recruiting athletes for Eubora.
Hmm.
And I had you in like my little list or spreadsheet of like people to reach out to send
Oh.
some product with and get on a call with. And I never
Hmm.
ended up actually reaching out, or I don't know if I did. I don't think I actually ended up reaching out. But
Hmm.
basically,
That's awesome.
I had seen like I knew Addie had this new boyfriend, right? That she was kind of like dating, and she's always kind of like kept any of that because she doesn't want anybody to pry, so she keeps it super private for a while. And so like,
Mhm.
I'll let you know, I'll let you know, I'll let you know. And so finally we start to understand that this guy's name's Jermaine,
That's awesome.
and we start to kind of see like a little bit of like, okay, who can we look at inside of her followers that is like got the name Jermaine? And then we slowly find, I'm like, I know this guy, like I've seen this guy's stuff, I looked into him for Eubora. And so it's funny that it ended up being, this IFBB pro Jermaine Gadsden that I had like kind of seen before as far as just like athlete research. And lo and behold, you turn out to be this incredible dude that I'm super blessed to just call even just a friend in general.
Thank you.
And it's been really really cool to watch you guys and your relationship flourish, and like how far you've come, and now we're doing business stuff together as well.
Yeah, definitely. And the craziest thing is, I don't think I ever told you or Addison this. Um, I want to say something. It's like a theory or something. Is it like the butterfly theory, where like like for example, two people met like 10 years ago, and then 10 years like currently they're like together, but they're
Yeah.
like we're in fourth grade or something like that together. Do you know the name of that theory?
I don't know
I
the
think
name of a theory. I know it's like there's like the butterfly effect, which is like one small thing has these massive like a butterfly
that makes
flapping its
sense.
wings in China, right? Like it can create a tidal
Oh, the
wave somewhere
tsunami,
else,
yeah. I think it's called the string theory. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
But yeah, 'cause when I first saw Addison in the gym, I'm like, that's Addison. But like for the life of me, I could not remember how I knew her name. Like for
Mhm.
like the very first moment I saw her in person, I'm like, that is Addison Brindley. But I cannot remember how I know her name.
Yeah.
But I think that's so cool, man. That's awesome. And
Mhm.
that's just another testimony to things happen for a reason. Like out of everyone in this entire world, like everyone online, you took my name down, right? And now we're family. Like that is so cool to me, bro. Like if it that doesn't like preach like divinity, if you will, like a
Mhm.
divine thing happening, then I don't know what will. That's unimaginable. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And I wanna so you've talked, you and I talk a good amount, I would say, on like our
Yeah.
faith, and we
Yeah.
both kind of have connected on that. And I think there's a lot of people that have misconceptions about like both entrepreneurship and faith and
Yeah.
bodybuilding and faith, because there's a lot of people I think that have this misconceived notion that um entrepreneurship in and of itself, you can't be like a God first individual and
Mhm.
strive for making a lot of money or acquiring wealth or
Yeah.
things, because that's like the typical examples of an idol is like using money as an idol or being materialistic or things like that.
Mhm.
Same thing with bodybuilding, I think,
Yeah.
is if you're focused on creating this perfect physique, and like your physique ends up being an idol from the outside looking in. I'm not saying any of
Yeah.
this is true, but how do
Yeah.
you feel? I have my own views on just kind of like entrepreneurship and how you can be a Christ-like entrepreneur and have a
Yeah.
Christ-like business. But what
Mhm.
is your views on people that say that there's too much vanity built into the sport of bodybuilding, that it's impossible to follow Christ like you should be following him?
Definitely to say it's impossible is kind of like a black and white statement. But the way I see it, let's take for example like a boat, right? Like you're force feeding. That's like gluttony in itself, right? Like just
Mhm.
overindulging, even though your body doesn't necessarily need that. So you kind of like just I mean, I'm not like a pastor or anything, but I'm
No,
just
no,
speaking
yeah.
from my experience. I mean, it's definitely tough because it's things like gluttony or like when you get into enhancements, like these things directly clash with your faith. So at the end of the day, you just have to ask yourself like, what's the priority, and make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. So
Mhm.
we're all created in the image of God, and we should be honoring Him with our body, treating our body like a temple. So we should I mean, it's tough because I don't know the exact answer. But that's just how I view it. Just making sure that you're doing these things for the right reason, and that you're just on the right path. Like you're not sinful, you're not prideful, you're not praising like money and like idolizing that, because there's only one thing that you should idolize, one thing that you should
Mhm.
serve, and that's God. Like you can't have two gods.
Yeah.
My mom and I would say all the time, like God is a very jealous God, and He will humble you very fast. So when He sees that you're giving your attention to money or these materialistic things, these things can be going just like that, right?
Mhm.
And in those moments, like I've had those moments, like I'm not a perfect human being, no one is. I've had those moments where I felt myself kind of straying away, and then He would humble me very fast, right? Whether it's like just being anxious or anxiety or having fears, worries, and doubts, like you got to surrender all of those things to Him. So just moving with confidence, knowing that you're doing what you want to do, but also like surrendering to Him and remaining humble and understanding that none of this really matters. This is just the preview. This is just the intro or the beginning or the thing right before the next step, and that's the eternity with Jesus Christ. So to put all that into one answer, I would say just make sure you educate yourself and you're doing it for the right reason. And just that's pretty much it. Just remain
Yeah.
humble and just surrender to Him. So I'm curious to hear your insights on that. So like the enhancements and like the gluttony,
Mm.
like just overeating, like force feeding, right? Like praising yourself in the mirror, and just I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think for me, I look at them both with kind of the same lens of, if we're all God's children, like I look at it from the perspective of a father. Like I've never met a father who didn't want his kids to be like extremely successful, succeed in the things that they do, be the
Right.
best version of themselves. And so I don't think that God would be any different as a father than like all the fathers that we know. And
Mm-hmm.
so I look at it as that as like um, the thing, like it pleases him to know that you are trying to be the best version of yourself, whether that is try to put your family in the best position or
Definitely.
your business in the best position, or, become financially free, or, honor him by putting your, I mean, there's a lot of Bible verses in of like, there's
Yeah.
even a specific Bible verse that I used to have like as my screensaver that where he talks about is the point of a race not to win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like basically says if you're going to be in a race, why would you not try to be the winner? Like
Exactly.
it even like puts that there's a piece of I wish I could remember the exact verse, but
Mm-hmm.
if you put as a point of a race, if it is the point of a race not to win, just into ChatGPT and ask it which verse it is, it'll tell you. But
Definitely.
um, there's several things in the Bible that attach to like why would I have you do anything if I didn't want you to go all out on it?
Definitely.
Why would I put anything on your heart if I didn't want you to go all in?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a I don't think that he would want you to run a business and then run like a struggling and barely profitable or even negative business, because it's
Yeah.
like why would he want you to just be in that situation? He would want you to be extremely fruitful, because whenever you are extremely fruitful, like in an entrepreneurial perspective,
Mhm.
you have more resources to be able to give back. You have more resources to be able to kind of empower that wealth for good and
Yeah.
and donate to things and tithe and things like
Mhm.
that. And if you're being extremely healthy, right? Like there's unhealthy things you can take entrepreneurship to. There's unhealthy things you can
Mhm.
take bodybuilding and building your physique to as well. Obviously, like you talked about some of the enhanced stuff, or going too far on bulks or too far on cuts and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, but at the end of the day, it's like your body is the vessel that he gave you to for your soul to go through this lifetime on, and
Yeah.
before you kind of meet him. And so it's like why would he want you to abuse that and make it extremely unhealthy and like let
100%.
yourself go and be overweight and be
100%.
have health problems? And like that's not what he would want you to do with the only vessel that he gave you on this earth to live
Definitely.
out your days in. So I kind of view it like that, right? Of like from a father's perspective, I don't think that he would put you on earth to wanting you to be average. He wouldn't put you on earth to be unsuccessful and to be below average. Like, so it's the only answer to me is he wants you to go make the absolute most and be the absolute best that you can possibly be in all areas of your life.
Definitely. And I watch like I agree with 100% with everything that you just said. I watch a lot of Myron Golden. He's like an
Yep.
older black guy with a gray beard, and he preaches the word, and every message that I've ever seen him, like it's like just talking to a crowd, he's always talking about God. And he's just saying, make sure if you want to have a successful business, go look in the Bible and read what the profitable businesses did, because that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Mm,
So all in all, I would say the biggest thing is just making sure we glorify God, right, and not take into the extremes. And like you said, He wants us to be successful. He wants us to have these things. That's the whole point of this experience, right? Is to be fruitful and multiply, right?
mm-hmm,
And a man is at his best when he's in his creative state. So when you're being a good steward, right? Like so, if you're giving back to the community, if you're serving people, like what we're doing with coaching, we're helping people reach their goals. Like you're creating a business. Like I know you love coding. I know you love AI. So when a man is in his creative state and he's creating something, that's when he's at his best.
mm,
So yeah, I would to go back, and I'm not talking stuff on anyone that's doing enhancements or
No,
force
definitely.
feeding
Yeah.
or going to the extremes, but just speaking from my experience, like when you do these things and more than you need to, or just doing it for the sake of doing that thing, that's when it becomes a problem. Right? Like you
Mhm.
said, we're not here to be average. We're here to enjoy this experience and exercise our free will by glorifying Him. So I 100% agree with you, bro. That's what it's all about. Definitely,
Yeah. Yeah, I was
definitely.
curious your kind of take on that because I think it is something that a lot of, for whatever reason, there's a faction of Christianity that is, likes to think of themselves as like the purists that are like, yeah, you can't be an entrepreneur and be a Christian. You couldn't be a bodybuilder and be a Christian, and I fundamentally don't believe that's true
No,
because I believe that again, he wants you to be successful and as his child, like what father wouldn't want that? So I was
definitely.
just curious, kind of your take on that, but
Yeah.
with we've kind of caught up right to you in Houston, you and Addie met.
Yep.
Now I guess let's talk through how we all three became business partners and kind of where we're at now with the BAM coalition and everything got going on.
Yeah, definitely. So it started with you and Addison, obviously, and then I had Iron Made Physique. That was my business, like my LLC, like doing my own thing. And then we met. We met in 2023. I want to say May 12th, like right before my birthday, is when we worked out for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, yeah, she coaches. Like I compete. She wants to compete again. And then shortly after that, the idea sparked like, man, we should combine coaching, right? Like this was early on, right? We were just having conversations here and there. Like we should
Yeah.
combine coaching. I think we can really rock out and really just and stamp ourselves as elite coaches. So some time went on. Some time went on. I still was doing my thing, and I still were doing my thing, and you guys were doing yours. And then it came up again, and then again, and then again. In December of last year, or like November around that time frame, I'm like, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time that we come together and we really give this thing all that we have. So we sat down. I want to say December when we visited you all, and like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is what we need to do. This is what it will look like if we teamed up and let's make it happen. And I will never forget January of this year when I joined AR. And bam, I'm like, this is like the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like just having like the systems in place to really like scale your business and go to the next level. Like I will never forget that feeling. I felt like I just stepped into a brand new world. Like it
Yeah.
was a really dope feeling. It was awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, ever since then, like everything has been absolutely beautiful. It's really cool, like just being able to bounce ideas off Addison, off of you on what we can do and how we can serve our people. And yeah, this is it's definitely the best year of my life in terms of like business growth, family, relationship, finances, like everything. It just makes so much sense. Like everything is
Mm-hmm.
clear. Like I know exactly where I want to be. And now every day I wake up and I'm just doing what I have to do, taking it day by day. So yeah, it's been an absolutely beautiful journey.
Yeah. And Bam's on pace to double last year, maybe triple it.
Hmm.
We've had some massive kind of accolades this year, which have been super exciting.
Hmm.
Um, and it's really been like, I talked to you, I would kind of like not wanting to overstep or anything. I would talk to you multiple times of like, hey bro, you should set something up like this. Like I think this could think this could help you out. Like I'm open book. If you want to ask me any questions, like
Yep.
that's kind of what I do day to day. And so like, and finally, whenever we ended up combining, and I got a chance to get kind of hands on and show you, hey, here's what this looks like. And I'll never forget you made your first kind of post where we put like even just a comment keyword automation, and then like the first person commented, and you checked your DMs, and like they had already been DM'd, and like we'd
Mhm.
already gotten name, phone, and email from them, and you're like, yo, this is crazy. This is like,
Oh,
what do
so,
I do? And I'm like, you just wait. Like the system's gonna take care of it. It'll text them, and then now we have a conversation started, and then now because this conversation started, we can talk to them about how can we help and what can we do, and like then we step in, right? But everything from the beginning, it kind of does it for you, and you're like, this is insane. This makes so much sense now. So that was a really cool kind of, for me, it was a really cool light bulb moment to watch your eyes light up, and you'd be like, oh, I get it now. Like this is
yep.
what people are doing to get these massive coaching businesses and get some impact so many lives and things like that.
Yep. It was awesome, man. I'll never forget. It was around what, like I want to say like 6:30. in the afternoon. Like I vividly remember that night, bro, because it was so crazy. Like I've never witnessed anything like that before. I'm like, you're telling me like this is like what you created? Like you coded this?
Mhm. Yeah,
It was awesome. It was dope.
yeah.
It was
No,
dope.
it's super cool to watch. And now, I mean, just thinking about, we were joking around because I had like my little AI agent do research on you before the podcast, and
Yep.
that first CTA that you made was your men's physique like guide.
Yep.
And then the second one after that, that went like really nuts, was like a peak week guide.
Yep.
And so when the AI agent was doing all this research on you, it pulled in that like one of your career highlights is you're a peak week specialist.
It's
And it
awesome.
pulled in like multiple things about peak week. And I know all those things specifically are taken from your post on peak week that went super viral, that got
Mhm.
a ton of guys on the team this year. So it's cool to see that even like you making some of those posts and having the systems in place and everything like that is even pulling in so much that is training AI models on who Jermaine Gadsden is. He's a peak week specialist because we know this many people have came to him for peak week advice.
It was awesome. And
Yeah.
that's like AI in itself, like it's such a crazy tool. Like in the beginning, I'm sure, as everyone was, I was skeptical. I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to, take this leap or implement these things, but like it makes so much sense. Like that is 100% the way to get to that next level. Because the goal is to serve as many people as I can, right? And if this helps me get to that goal, like why not use that to my advantage?
Yeah,
That's the
and
way.
you and I talked about it initially, and you even had said you raised that kind of concern. We were like, I think that's like wrong if for coaches to, like, they're paying
Yeah.
for access to you, and if you're using something else to sub you out, then and you and I had a bunch of conversations around, hey, it doesn't have to be a substitute. And I don't believe it should be used as a substitute for a coach in any way. Like it should not be something that you outsource parts of a
100.
plan to or whatever. But if you can download kind of like your secret sauce, your specific way that you attack a problem, whether that is peaking a competitor or writing out a meal plan or thinking about programming or thinking about injury prevention or whatever the case may be, whatever your special thing is,
Mhm.
if you can download that into a GPT or an LLM or an assistant or an agent or something like that,
Take it to the
it can be an extension of you, right? To magnify your impact, not necessarily replace it. And that's how I think coaches should be using it. And that's how we've used it inside of BAM.
Yeah, 100%. And from that moment until now, it's like, why didn't the only thing I say is why didn't I use this earlier? Like this
Yeah.
is like this is beautiful. Like I'm able to real have a real life impact, like a real world impact, and just help as many people as I can, and just get them on the team, show them what we're about, get the overall wins. Like we had like 6 overall wins, and I don't even know how many class wins. Like we had so much success because we were able to reach all those people by understanding what AI is and just implementing into our business.
Yeah. And I think you have a really unique way, maybe you can talk to it as well, of using AI to help out with your content.
Yes.
So maybe talk about some of that, because I think that a lot of people struggle to get it to effectively help with content, and I think you, especially on YouTube, with what you were doing, you really used it very effectively. So could you talk maybe a little bit about what you were doing there?
Yeah, definitely. So I would find myself like Sundays, like sitting down, like, okay, let me plan out my work week, right? So I got to record this video, I got to post this video, I got to edit this YouTube video. So I'm spending hours, right, trying to just think, like, okay, top 3 this, top 5 that. Okay, let me do like some peak week things, and I'm like, once in, I'm like, you know what? Let me just sit down and let me use GPT to script out my entire week. So it gave me a post for 2 YouTube shorts every single day for a week. And from the beginning of that week to the ending of that week, I gained like 1,500 subscribers because
Jeez.
it like it pulls information from the entire internet, like what performs the best for what I'm trying to, like with the content I'm trying to produce. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it this week. So I posted the first day, the first video, it got like 8K views. And I posted the second video, it got 100,000 views on a YouTube Shorts on a brand new page. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely the way to go. So the next post got like 20K and 30K. So every single video I posted that it recommended me went crazy, like every
Mhm.
single time. So I would say not to become too reliant on it to where you're not thinking for yourself, but use it as a tool to get those juices flowing. So it
Yeah.
would tell me like post this kind of video, and I'm like, maybe I can rephrase that. Maybe I
Mm,
can use this style of video, but show like do something else, like do a workout or do nutrition. So I feel like it's a very good tool to get you going, but you should always do your own research and not just copy and paste, but make sure what is giving you makes sense. And I feel like
yeah.
that's the best way to use it, which helped me be so successful, right?
Yeah.
Going to like the peak week and the men's physique, like just telling it what you're thinking and having it make it look professional. It's pretty much what it's for. Yeah, and it definitely is the way to go. Definitely an awesome tool to have. Like not only
Yeah.
GPT, but like AI in general. Like the more you tell it, the better it knows who you are and the better you serve people. That's just
Hmm.
plain and simple.
Yeah. That's the reality of it. No, I think, I mean, I got to figure out a better kind of like I've got the biggest thing I think as far as prompting AI and what you're kind of alluding to is you gave it a lot of information about who you are, who you want to
Yes,
serve, what your kind of goal is with the content, and then it created really, really effective content for you.
100%.
And so I think that's a big part of what people have to understand is if you put garbage in, you're gonna get garbage out. So if you just go to GPT and you're using a clean GPT and you
Hmm.
say, create me 5 Instagram reels about fitness,
It's
like
gonna be all over the
you're gonna
place.
get the most generic crap you
Hmm.
could ever possibly imagine because you gave it nothing. You didn't give it any of your like to quote earlier, like any of that secret sauce of like what makes you different, what makes you so I think the biggest thing is having like data, having some structure. I have a bunch of posts where I talk about like having a prompting framework and kind of how you can use the COACH, like the coach kind of prompt framework.
Exactly.
And so, but that is very important to get a fruitful outcome from something like GPT or any of these platforms that you might be using, which it sounds like you put in a lot of work to make that happen and get that result.
Definitely. And the more you use it, the more you speak to it, the better it understand like what you have to offer and where your headspace is at. So I can
Mhm.
say something like right now, like, hey, blah blah blah, and it'll pull up something that I said 30 days ago. Like here's what you were previously saying about this thing. So now we can implement that now because you're ready for it. So it's like why haven't I started using this early is the only thing I keep thinking about. Like I should have done this early, I should have done that, but it's a really great tool. I give it prompts and just use it respectfully, right? And if you find yourself like at a content stump or do your
Mhm.
words are scrambled, you're not the best at speaking English or something, it's a very good tool, man. It's an awesome tool.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. We've had a lot of success this year. You've had a lot of guys that have been added to the team on your side of the team. I think we've added like 4 pro cards to like the team stats this year.
Yeah, 6 overalls and 4 pro cards,
Yep.
and we still have I want to say 7 shows on the calendar. So
Mhm.
we're still rocking and rolling, man. We still have a lot of athletes that are stepping on stage.
Yeah. How'd you feel about your season this year?
I felt good. Obviously, you always want number one, right? So I competed May 10th or May 9th. I got third at that show, and then I competed again August 9th, and I got second at that show. So one placing away from getting the ultimate goal. But the feedback was good. It was like you don't need any more size. Like you have shape, you have muscle. Just come in a little tighter and drier in your midsection, and I mean, let's go get your
Yeah.
trophy. So I was going to do another show, but I've been in prep since January of this year, and the holidays are coming up, and there's no way I'm missing the holidays for prep. Right?
Yeah.
Not
You wouldn't
again. I
get
think
to.
my very first actual prep. I would never do that again. It was definitely
Yeah.
brutal.
Now
But
it
I
sucks, dude. It
Mhm.
sucks doing stuff like that over the holidays and not getting to enjoy whether it's good
Exactly.
food or just like time with your family and your loved ones. Like it just kind of throws a wrench in everything. Kudos to those that are able to do it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just
Amazing.
like there's some life moments I think that are just worth more than sacrificing for something like a prep. For I mean, you can do it any other time of year. So I agree with you.
Literally. Definitely, definitely. But overall, I feel awesome, man. I feel good. We add like a big check to the wall and some more bling, if you will, some more medals.
Mm.
So I'm definitely super fired up in this next. I got 12 more weeks in this 16-week phase, and then prep starts again January 1st. I'm diving back in. But I'm super excited. I'm very confident, and we will be able to get that first pro overall. That's a huge deal, and I'm definitely excited for it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've no
Yep.
doubts you will. It's awesome to watch you do your thing, whether it's showing up as a coach or a competitor, or just even a brain on social media. It's awesome to watch Addie do her thing. You guys kind of do your thing together. We're planning out some cool stuff of how hopefully, whether it's on the podcast and a situation or scenario like this, or, vlogging or collabing or things like that, how we can kind of just do more to highlight each other and show like the difference. I think we do have kind of a cool dynamic going between
Yeah.
everybody. You, me, Addie, Kinsey. It's
Oh,
kind of I think it's going to be really cool. So we've got some cool stuff planned. We've got a big Q4, which Q4 starts tomorrow, which is nuts.
which is
Got a
crazy.
big Q4 planned for BAM and kind of a roadmap for finishing out the year and trying to again just impact as many people as possible.
Yep.
Get these last few competitors on stage for the year and just keep crushing. So excited to see where Q4 takes us and how we can start off 2026 with a bang. And I'm excited to have you on here more as well. This episode will be posted. I'm actually thinking about posting it like later this week and just trying to crank out as many, just posting episodes basically as they come in instead of like
Yep.
doing like a schedule.
Yep.
So like some weeks there might be one, some weeks there might be three, some weeks there might be, none if I'm traveling or something. And so
Money up, man.
um, I'm thinking about kind of doing that just to get stuff out more consistently. But yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's kind of late notice and everything, but um, excited for you, man. Proud of you. Love you, dude. And yeah, is there anything else you want to kind of plug or talk about or kind of mention to end out the episode?
Yeah, definitely super blessed to know you and have you as my brother, man, and just be a part of the family now. I love you too, bro. And just this year has been really, really good, and I'm super fired up for Q4. I feel like Q4 is going to blow away the other 3 quarters of the year. I have full faith in that, and we'll just keep rocking and rolling, man. Since day one, since I met you, I knew you were a genuine guy, and just let's keep unlocking new levels together, bro. Let's keep reaching new heights. It's gonna be awesome.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. I'm excited. Jermaine, thank you for popping on this episode. We will all see you soon. Thanks,
Awesome,
guys.
bro. Thanks for having me. Peace.
See you, buddy.